Hello, Kurt Jackson here with this week's installment of Your Money Matters. I'm going to talk about a few things today. I know it seems like I'm always bringing you bad news. What I'm really trying to do is just help you open your eyes to what is really going on out there, but not the bill of goods we're being sold by everybody that everything is, just hunky-dory, everything's fine out there. So today I want to talk about a few things. Back on November 23rd of last year, 60 Minutes aired a segment about what serious jeopardy the United States infrastructure is in. Roads, bridges, airports, seaports, water mains, sewer mains, all that are in such serious disrepair that they're in danger of becoming obsolete. Airports, seaports, railways, highways, they're unable to handle the increasing traffic and are not being maintained, thus causing safety issues for us. Here's some examples. The city of Los Angeles believes it's going to take 300 years to replace its aging water pipes, which are seeing more and more ruptures. I don't know if you remember last year, the big flooding thing they had on the campuses of UCLA happened from a water main bursting. Pittsburgh has a bridge that is in such disrepair, they had to build a structure underneath it to catch all the falling debris so it wouldn't drop on the highway below. See, our country used to have the finest infrastructure in the world. Now we're rated 16th. So why must you know this and understand this? Well, how's the government going to keep promises they've made pertaining to pensions and health care if they can't keep our roads and bridges repaired? Where will the trillions of dollars come from just to maintain our country's infrastructure? Do you know politicians with the courage to ask for all the tax increases that would be needed to maintain Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, infrastructures, military, homeland security, and so on? Will they fix the roads or will they fix health care? Choices are going to have to be made, and do you think they're going to benefit you or not? I don't think they're going to benefit us, all right? Okay, so our next topic I want to talk about today is the gross domestic product, GDP. You hear about that all the time, and why does it matter? Well, GDP is a measurement of the output of goods and services that are produced by a country, and it's important to know this because it puts many financial things into perspective. For example, the GDP of the United States is almost $17 trillion. If you divide the amount of taxes collected at all levels of government, which is about $6 trillion, into that 17 trillion, you'll realize that 35% of everything that is produced in our country goes to taxes. We're currently running deficits that are 500 billion to $1 trillion every year, right? And that doesn't include the shortfalls that are at the state and local levels, where they continue to borrow money, more and more money to help ease their deficits. So knowing this allows you to understand how unrealistic it is to believe that increased taxes will diminish the shortfall that we have. Here's a little more math for you to play with. The United States has about $17 trillion in GDP. If you divide our population of 330 million people into that number, you'll see that most Americans currently have a reasonable amount of income, because it figures out to be about $51,000 per person. Now look, I understand that's not equally distributed, okay? That's a whole nother discussion. Here's what the math shows you. China's the second biggest economy at $9 trillion. Okay, so about almost half. They have 1.3 billion people, so that figures out to $6,900 per person. And by the way, that's not evenly distributed either. China is still a very, very poor nation. So the top 9 are United States, China, Japan comes in at 4.9 trillion. Germany is 3.6 trillion. Then England, Italy, India, Brazil, and Russia's 9th. So Germany's 4th at 3.6 trillion. Russia's 9th at 2.1 trillion. So those are in the middle there. So let me ask you a question. What's the largest economy in the world? That's a bit of a trick question. It's Europe, because they have $18 trillion. Because Europe has 28 nations, and with 18 that share the euro as their currency. And I throw that in there because it's important to know, because it's going to maybe help us understand what's happening in the world and how it can impact us. Okay? All right. Lastly, I want to talk. One of the things I talk about is pensions. Corporate pensions have really gone by gone the way of the dodo bird. What I'm more talking about here is if you work for a city or state, not so much the federal government, but city and state. If you have a pension there and you're counting on it, it scares me, because where are the states going to get the money to pay for these pensions? All right. Illinois right now has a $111 billion unfunded liability for its state's pensions. That's 70% higher than it was a year ago. And think about that. This is a time when the market's been up. Okay. It also has a $56 billion shortfall from promised retiree health benefits. Right. So that's $167 billion shortfall they have. And that's only one state. It's estimated that the unfunded pensions for all the states is currently $4.7 trillion. And that's increasing rapidly, even at a time when the market's doing well. More than 50% of the states do not have their pensions even 50% funded. So where's the money going to come from? States can't print money like the federal government can. Most states don't even currently show the shortfall for these pensions in their budgets. Right? And when they do, we're going to see higher property taxes, higher sales taxes, higher income taxes, higher excise taxes, and lower services by these entities. So keep that in mind. Now, please listen. Even if they can't reduce pension benefits, as the judge in Illinois ruled, they can increase all sorts of taxes, charge much more for services, which will reduce the value of their pensions. And another thing the courts seem to be allowing is a reduction or a complete elimination of cost of living adjustments, COLA, to help you keep up with inflation. Now, this is why I always want you to understand the math, right? Because it's my belief that when you look at these numbers, a real economic catastrophe is coming, right? And you need to know about it so you can make the moves you need to make now to help you, I don't want to say necessarily avoid it, but minimize what it does to you. One of the things we talk about, and I try to teach clients, is when you have your money in your 401k, your 403b, your 457 plan, your IRAs, pensions, even the Roth to a little lesser extent, those are all controlled by the government. Think about it. If you went to try to pull money out, you got to pay taxes, except for on the Roth, and you got to pay a penalty, and up until 59 and a half, you got to pay taxes no matter when. Then at 70 and a half, they tell you if you have money that you've got in these qualified plans, even if you don't need it, the income, you still have to take it out or you pay penalties. Now, last year in 2014, they created it's a qualified longevity annuity, QLAC is what they're calling it, where you can take 25% of your amount. Like, let's say you had a $500,000 IRA that you didn't need the income from. Okay, you could take a quarter of that, up to $125,000 maximum, and you could put that in a qualified longevity annuity and not need to take it out until age 85, which helps some, but you're still going to pay taxes on it. So what we try to help you do is figure that out now, and if you decide you want to make the move to get that money out of the control of the government and more under your control. We seem to trust the government's going to always do right by us, but I think that's foolish to actually believe that. So, and I don't care who's in charge, if it's the right or the left. None of those folks up there have our best interest at heart. They have the best interest at heart of the biggest money going into their donut to their campaign. So, hey, I want to thank you for tuning in for this week's Your Money Matters. I really hope you're watching these. If you are, I hope you share the link with friends, family, anyone you care about, because this is great information that we all need to know. I know it's kind of mind-numbing and boring, but it's important, all right? And that's how most things that are very important are. They're probably mind-numbing and boring. And it's scary and all that, and I know that it takes big life events for people to end up doing anything about their money. So when you wait for that to happen, it's usually too late. So plan ahead. If you want to know more about this, I've got all kinds of information out there. Give me a shout if you want. We'll post below this a link to sign up to watch a free video that kind of just gives at least one of the things that we do. There's a lot of different things that we do, but take 6 minutes out of your day and watch that. And once you've watched it, then give me set up an online appointment with me to talk about what those numbers might look like for you, to look at it more specifically. If you like it, we can do something. If not, hey, great. At least you found out more and you know that what you're doing is right. So thanks for tuning in. I hope you have a great day. We'll see you next week.